There is a silver tsunami on the way. Forecasters say that over the next decade, the number of people over 50 in Asia is expected to reach 1 billion. That is 5 times faster than the overall population. Our next guest says the silver consumer segment is a gold mine, not silver mine, a gold mine, and marketeers need to let go of their obsession with youth and focus on the realities of today's consumer. Kim Walker is founder and CEO of Silver, and I believe, Kim, that Silver is essentially a business consultancy to focus on this senior market segment. What would your top tips be?
The top tips? The top tips? Well, I think obviously after the recession we have to look at the money market, and clearly, you know, investors have been shaken by this. The difference between an older investor and perhaps a younger one is that they've seen this before. They've been through this trauma before, and they know that there's light at the end of the tunnel. But I think looking forward, we're going to have to reassure these folks. And so in times like this, institutions are going to be needing to use reassuring words of stability and strength as opposed to risk and innovation. But I think going beyond that, really, when you ask about what are the hot tips, I don't think there is a category that is not going to be affected by the aging consumer across the region, or in fact the world. And I think any category that can help people feel, look and think younger for longer are going to win.
Is it fair to say that the dynamics, essentially, of those who are over 50 has really changed? I mean, in the olden days, it used to be that if you were a retiree, essentially, you were living on a pension, you might actually be living with your with your children, and you didn't actually have that much spending power of your own. But now, it seems as if there's a huge amount of spending power amongst those in the silver category.
Well, absolutely, Mandy. I think some reports suggest that by the year 2015, the 65 plus, and we're talking 65 plus meaning they're no longer, in most cases, economically active, will have a spending power, discretionary spending power across Asia Pacific of $2 trillion US. That's a lot of money. It's no longer a niche. So when people talk to me about, oh, that's an interesting niche, it's not a niche anymore. Not when most of the developed markets across Asia Pacific are going to have 50 plus populations in excess of 35%. That's mass market now.
Are companies in this region, Kim, getting the message, though? Is the penny dropping? Are they changing their marketing strategies now to focus on this greying population?
It's extraordinary, Sri. You would think they would, but in fact they're not. And this is what I'm trying to do, and our company is trying to do, is wake them up to the opportunity. Because quite frankly, you can fudge numbers, let's face it, in many ways. You can make research say what you wanted to say, but one thing you cannot tell a lie about is demographics. And the demographics are saying that we are seeing an explosion, as in the words of the United Nations, the likes of which we have never seen in the history of mankind. And it's extraordinary that it is requiring so much effort to pull companies into this. And I believe strongly, of course I would, that companies that recognize this and move on it fast are the ones that are going to get huge advantage out of this.
I'm just wondering, in the very short term, though, I mean, obviously, I'm sure you're looking out longer term, but in the very short term, a lot of these people who are in their retirement stage are a little bit concerned that they might have seen a lot of their net worth disappear into the market crash that we've obviously been experiencing over the last 18 months. And I've just been talking to some of even my parents' friends who say, you know, we're not going to be able to retire anymore. We're going to have to work for another 5 years and just make back all that money that we've lost. Is this something that you're hearing being echoed from your clients?
Well, I think everyone suffered. I think the difference is, as I said before, that the older folks have actually accumulated wealth, so they're in a slightly better position. The problem with them is, of course, they've got less time to recover. So in terms of appealing to their wallets and trying to get them to reinvest, companies are going to need to rethink the way they deal with these people. They're going to need to offer some relatively low-risk instruments, obviously delivering higher than bank interest rates, but also things that give them the flexibility to draw on it as and when they need to. I think, you know, one example of this also is that in Asia, of course, you have much greater family centricity than you do in an Anglo-Saxon environment.
That's a very good point. Kim, unfortunately, we have to wrap it up because the show is about to end. But thank you for joining us today. Kim Walker, founder and CEO of Silver.